Have you ever thought about your money, not as yours but as God's? In a world chasing wealth and possessions, the Bible teaches a different path, one of stewardship, discipline, and purpose. In today's video, we'll uncover how biblical budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about responsibility. Get ready to learn how managing God's money wisely can open doors to true peace, provision, and prosperity. Money matters. We need it to live, to care for our families, and to make our way in the world. But have you ever stopped to think about where money comes from? It's not just the result of hard work, though hard work is important. The Bible tells us that every good and perfect gift comes from God. That includes our ability to earn money, the resources we use to generate income, and the very breath in our lungs. When we view money as a gift from God, our perspective shifts. We become stewards, entrusted with managing something precious that doesn't truly belong to us. It's like being given the keys to a brand new car. You wouldn't drive it recklessly, would you? You'd take care of it, knowing it wasn't truly yours to destroy. Money, like that car, should be handled with care and intention. It's not something to be worshipped or to control us. It's a tool, a resource to be used for good, for God's glory, and for the blessing of others. Remember, everything we have ultimately belongs to Him. Imagine building a house without a blueprint. You start laying bricks, hammering nails, but there's no clear plan, no direction. What kind of house would you end up with? Most likely, a disaster. That's what happens when we try to manage our money without a budget. We end up with financial chaos. Proverbs chapter 21 verse 5 tells us, "The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty." Failing to plan is a recipe for financial stress, conflict, and instability. Without a clear picture of our income and expenses, we overspend, accumulate debt, and miss opportunities to bless others. Living paycheck to paycheck, constantly worried about bills, robs us of peace and joy. It can even strain our relationships, leading to arguments and resentment. But God doesn't want us to live in a constant state of financial anxiety. He wants us to experience the freedom and security that comes from wise stewardship. That's where budgeting comes in. It's not about restriction or deprivation. It's about taking control, making intentional choices, and aligning our spending with our values and God's purposes. It's about experiencing the peace of mind that comes from knowing where your money is going and having a plan for the future. A budget is simply a plan for your money. It's a roadmap that helps you navigate your finances and reach your financial goals. Think of it like a GPS for your money. It helps you track where your money is going, make adjustments along the way, and stay on course to reach your destination. But a biblical budget goes beyond just tracking numbers. It's about aligning your spending with God's priorities. It starts with acknowledging that everything belongs to God and seeking His wisdom in managing His resources. A biblical budget is grounded in principles like giving, saving, and spending wisely. It recognizes that our money isn't just for our own needs and wants, but also for blessing others and advancing God's kingdom. It's about living generously, being content with what we have, and avoiding the trap of debt. Budgeting God's way brings peace, freedom, and the joy of knowing that we're using our resources to honor Him and make a difference in the world. Creating a biblical budget might seem daunting at first, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Start by gathering your financial statements. Bank statements, pay stubs, bills, and any other records of income and expenses. Next, make a list of all your sources of income. This includes your salary, wages, bonuses, and any other regular income you receive. Then, list all your expenses. Be thorough and honest with yourself. Include everything from housing and food to transportation, entertainment, and those daily coffees. Once you have a clear picture of your income and expenses, you can start making decisions about where your money should go. Begin by prioritizing giving. The Bible teaches us to give back to God a portion of what He has given us. Then, allocate funds for essential needs like housing, food, utilities, and transportation. After covering essential needs, focus on saving. Aim to build an emergency fund that can cover 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Finally, allocate any remaining funds to other expenses, such as entertainment, hobbies, and personal spending. Remember, a budget is a living document. You'll need to review and adjust it regularly as your income and expenses change. Section 5. Giving first fruits, honoring God with our finances. In the Bible, God commanded his people to bring the first and best of their harvest as an offering to him. This principle, known as giving first fruits, recognizes that everything we have ultimately belongs to God. When we give back to him first, we acknowledge his ownership and express our gratitude for his provision. Giving shouldn't be seen as an obligation or a burden, it's an act of worship, a way to honor God with our finances. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 7 tells us, each one must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. Giving doesn't always have to be monetary. We can also give our time, talents, and resources to support our church, ministries, and those in need. The point is to be generous and intentional with what God has entrusted to us. When we put God first in our finances, he promises to bless us in return. Section 6. Needs versus wants. Spending wisely, saving diligently. One of the most important aspects of biblical budgeting is distinguishing between needs and wants. Needs are essential for our survival and well-being, such as food, shelter, clothing, and healthcare. Wants, on the other hand, are things that would be nice to have but aren't essential for our survival. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking we need everything that catches our eye. But the Bible teaches us to be content with what we have. Philippians chapter 4 verses 11 to 12 says, I am not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. By prioritizing needs over wants and delaying gratification, we free up more money to save for the future, invest in our goals, and be more generous towards others. Saving is another crucial aspect of biblical budgeting. It's about setting aside a portion of our income regularly for future needs and goals. This could include saving for retirement, a down payment on a house, education, or unexpected expenses. Section 7. Freedom from debt, breaking the chains of financial bondage. The Bible has a lot to say about debt. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 7 warns, the rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is the slave of the lender. Debt can be a heavy burden, stealing our peace, limiting our options, and hindering our ability to be generous. While there are times when debt may be unavoidable, such as a mortgage or a necessary car loan, we should strive to live debt-free as much as possible. This requires discipline, sacrifice, and a commitment to living within our means. If you're currently struggling with debt, don't lose hope. There's a way out. Start by creating a budget and identifying areas where you can cut expenses. Then prioritize paying off your debts, starting with the smallest balance and working your way up to the largest. Consider getting a side hustle or finding ways to increase your income to accelerate your debt repayment. Remember, becoming debt-free is a journey, not a sprint. Celebrate small victories along the way and don't be afraid to seek help if needed. Section 8. Building a legacy. How budgeting supports God's plan. When we manage our finances God's way, it's not just about our own well-being. It also enables us to be a blessing to others and to invest in God's kingdom. When we're financially stable, we're better equipped to help those in need, support our church and ministries, and leave a legacy of generosity for future generations. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 9 to 10 says, Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the first fruits of all your produce. Then your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine. When we put God first in our finances, He promises to bless us. These blessings may not always come in the form of material wealth, but they will always be for our good and His glory. Proper budgeting allows us to plan for the future, ensuring that we have enough resources to care for ourselves and our loved ones. It also allows us to be prepared for unexpected opportunities, such as starting a business, investing in a ministry, or supporting a missionary. Section 9. Your financial journey. A testament to faithfulness. Managing your money God's way is a journey, not a destination. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way, but don't get discouraged. Remember, it's not about perfection, but about faithfulness. Start with what you have today, no matter how small it may seem. Every step you take towards aligning your finances with God's principles is a step in the right direction. As you seek His wisdom and guidance, He will equip you with everything you need to be a faithful steward of His resources. Your financial journey is a testament to your faith and obedience. It's about more than just money. It's about honoring God, building a legacy of generosity, and experiencing the peace and freedom that come from knowing you're living in alignment with His will. So take courage, seek His guidance, and start managing your finances as an act of worship. The financial teachings shared on this channel are based on biblical principles and are intended for educational and spiritual guidance only. They do not constitute professional financial, legal, or investment advice. Always seek counsel from a licensed financial advisor or qualified professional for your personal financial decisions. We encourage prayer, discernment, and wise stewardship in all matters related to money and faith.